The air inside the cell hung heavy, suffused with the scent of despair and the muffled echoes of distant suffering. For weeks, I had stared at the cold, gray walls that confined me, my every move scrutinized by unseen eyes. I was a prisoner in a secret facility, the details of which were known only to a select few in the shadows of power. My name is Alex Mercer, and I have been wrongly accused of a crime I did not commit. The government had thrown me into this clandestine prison, a place where hope went to die. But the fire of defiance burned in my veins, urging me to reclaim the freedom that had been unjustly stolen from me. Days blurred into nights, marked only by the rhythmic clank of metal doors and the distant screams of other prisoners. The guards were faceless, clad in ominous black uniforms, their identities concealed behind masks. I had no allies, no one to trust. But I was determined to escape, to expose the truth that lurked within the sinister confines of this secret prison. My cellmate, Jack, was a grizzled old man who had seen more than his fair share of suffering. The lines etched on his weathered face told stories of a lifetime spent on the fringes of society. Jack had been here longer than most, a silent observer of the prison's darkest secrets. One night, as the prison descended into an uneasy silence, Jack whispered to me in the shadows. He spoke of a hidden passage, a labyrinthine network of tunnels beneath the prison that led to freedom. The entrance was in the heart of the facility, buried beneath layers of reinforced concrete. With newfound hope, I began to meticulously plan our escape. Jack and I became ghostly shadows, navigating the prison's intricate web of surveillance and deception. We whispered in code, creating a language of nods and glances that spoke volumes without uttering a word. The night of the escape arrived, and the air crackled with tension. We moved through the prison like phantoms, avoiding the watchful eyes of the guards. The hidden entrance beckoned us, a gateway to the unknown. With each step, the weight of captivity is lifted, replaced by the electric thrill of impending freedom. The tunnels were a labyrinth of darkness, a subterranean realm where the only sound was the echo of our footsteps against cold, damp walls. We ventured deeper into the belly of the prison, guided only by the faint glow of a flashlight and Jack's unwavering determination. The walls seemed to close in on us as we neared the exit. Doubt gnawed at the edges of my resolve, but Jack's steely gaze urged me forward. We emerged into the cool night air, blinking against the blinding moonlight. Freedom, elusive and intoxicating, beckoned from beyond the prison walls. Our journey was far from over. We navigated treacherous terrain, avoiding patrols and eluding capture at every turn. The world outside the prison starkly contrasted to the desolation we left behind, a vibrant tapestry of life waiting to be explored. In the days that followed, Jack and I became fugitives, ghosts on the run from a system that sought to silence us. But we were armed with the truth, a weapon more potent than any the government could muster. We traversed the country, exposing the corruption that plagued in the shadows. The escape was not just a means to reclaim my freedom, but a catalyst for change. The secrets of the secret prison were laid bare, and the oppressors were brought to justice. The world, oblivious to the existence of such a place, awoke to the reality of a system that thrived on deception. As I looked back on the prison from a safe distance, I knew that my journey had just begun. The shadows of liberty cast by our escape would inspire others to resist, question, and challenge the darkness that lurked within the corridors of power. Story 2. The air was thick with dust as I coughed, the sound echoing through the desolate halls of the forgotten prison. My companion, Jake, and I stumbled through the ruins of what was once a formidable fortress, the dim light filtering through small barred windows, revealing the decay that had claimed this place. "Can you believe it?" Jake whispered, his voice barely audible over the creaking of rusted doors. "They left us here for thousands of years, forgotten." I nodded, my mind still trying to comprehend the passage of time. We had been imprisoned in this forsaken place, trapped in the darkness of solitude. But now an opportunity for freedom had presented itself as the barriers around us crumbled with age. The plan was simple. Escape this ancient prison and find a world we could barely fathom. As we moved cautiously through the narrow corridors, I couldn't help but feel a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The unknown awaited us beyond the decaying walls, and the journey ahead was filled with uncertainty. The echoes of our footsteps reverberated through the halls as we reached the main courtyard, the skeletal remains of guards and prisoners alike strewn across the ground. The once imposing structure now stood as a testament to the passage of time, a haunting reminder of the prison that time forgot. "Keep moving," Jake urged, his eyes scanning the surroundings. "We're not out yet." We made our way towards the entrance, the massive doors groaning in protest as we pushed them open. The outside world greeted us with blinding sunlight, momentarily disorienting our vision. The landscape had changed drastically from what we remembered, a testament to the ages that had passed during our captivity. As we ventured into the unknown, the air tasted different, and the scent of freedom was intoxicating. Our journey led us through desolate landscapes and remnants of civilizations long gone. We encountered strange creatures and witnessed the evolution of a world that had moved on without us. Days turned into weeks as we navigated this new reality. The knowledge we possessed, rooted in a distant past, made us both outcasts and scholars of a forgotten era. We faced challenges and forged alliances, adapting to a world that had evolved beyond our wildest imaginations. Throughout our journey, Jake and I grew closer, bound by the shared experience of escaping the prison of time. Our connection deepened as we faced the mysteries and wonders of the world together. The scars of our imprisonment became a badge of honor, a reminder that we were survivors who had defied the cruel march of time. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over a landscape that had witnessed our escape, Jake and I found solace in the freedom we had longed for. We were no longer prisoners of the past, but explorers of an unpredictable future, determined to make our mark in a world that had nearly forgotten us. Story 3. The prison walls loomed high and imposing, a fortress that had stood the test of time. As a seasoned guard, I patrolled the cold, sterile corridors, my footsteps echoing off the metal bars and concrete walls. The men within these cells were notorious, dangerous criminals whose very names struck fear into the hearts of those who knew of their deeds. Among them were 5 men, a group that had garnered a reputation for being the most cunning and ruthless within the prison's confines. They were the kind of inmates who thrived on chaos, and their mere presence sent shivers down the spines of both fellow prisoners and guards alike. One fateful night, the atmosphere within the prison took an eerie turn. The usual cacophony of shouts and clanging metal fell into an uneasy silence. It didn't take long for me to realize that something was amiss. As I walked the dimly lit corridors, I noticed the absence of the usual guards on duty. A sense of foreboding settled over me. A distant clatter echoed through the halls, drawing me towards the source. I approached the cell block housing the notorious 5, my hand instinctively tightening around the grip of my baton. As I peered through the bars, a chilling sight awaited me. The cell doors swung open, the locks expertly picked. The 5 men emerged like shadows, their movements synchronized and purposeful. Panic coursed through me as I fumbled for the radio at my hip, but a cold voice stopped me in my tracks. "Don't even think about it, guard." I turned to see the ringleader, a man with a gaze that could pierce steel. His name was Marcus, and he was the mastermind behind countless crimes that had baffled law enforcement for years. "Open the gate," he ordered, gesturing towards the exit. I hesitated, my mind racing. The consequences of defying them were too dire to contemplate. With a reluctant nod, I unlocked the gate, the sound of creaking metal echoing my surrender. The 5 men filed out, their eyes gleaming with a mix of triumph and malice. As they vanished into the darkness beyond the prison walls, I stood there, a witness to the escape of the most dangerous inmates under my watch. In the aftermath, the prison was thrown into chaos. Investigations were launched, and I found myself under scrutiny for my role in the escape. The escapees remained at large, leaving a trail of havoc in their wake. As I faced the consequences of that fateful night, the memory of those 5 dangerous men lingered, a haunting reminder of the thin line that separated order from chaos within the unforgiving walls of the prison. Story 4. The icy winds howled through the desolate landscape of Antarctica as I patrolled the perimeter of the top-secret prison, known only to a select few. This remote facility housed the world's most dangerous criminals, those whose crimes were too sinister and whose existence had to be erased from public knowledge. Little did I know that on this unforgiving night, our carefully guarded secret was about to unravel. As I made my rounds, a sudden disturbance in the frigid air caught my attention. Unearthly shrieks echoed through the frozen expanse, sending a shiver down my spine. I reached for my radio, but static filled the air, rendering communication impossible. The prison, nestled deep within the icy heart of Antarctica, was designed to hold not just human criminals, but otherworldly entities that defied explanation. The creatures hailing from realms unknown were imprisoned behind barriers of technology and arcane symbols. Or so we thought. As I approached the secure containment area, I was met with a sight that defied all reason. The barriers that separated our world from the otherworldly entities had been shattered, the air crackling with residual energy. A group of inmates, human and otherworldly alike, moved with eerie precision towards the breach. Among them was a figure clad in a cloak that seemed to absorb the feeble moonlight. His eyes glowed with an otherworldly intensity, and his presence sent a ripple of fear through the surrounding guards. "Stand down," I barked, my voice shaky but authoritative. "You have nowhere to go." The cloaked figure turned to me, a sinister smile playing on his lips. "You think you can contain us? You are but pawns in a cosmic game." With a wave of his hand, the remaining guards were thrown aside by unseen forces. The inmates, a motley crew of human and extraterrestrial offenders, surged forward, their escape fueled by an alliance that transcended the boundaries of our understanding. I stumbled back, witnessing the convergence of worlds before my very eyes. The Antarctic night was transformed into a cosmic battleground, where otherworldly creatures clashed with the feeble defenses we had constructed. In the chaos, the cloaked figure approached me, his gaze unwavering. "You were never in control, guard. This is just the beginning." As the prison's last line of defense crumbled, the inmates vanished into the unknown, leaving behind a desolate Antarctic landscape, forever altered by the escape of beings from realms beyond our comprehension. I, along with my fellow guards, were left to grapple with the realization that our top-secret prison had failed to contain forces that were never meant to be confined by mortal means. The secrets buried in the ice had been unleashed, and the world would soon feel the repercussions of a breach that extended far beyond the reaches of our understanding.